So you suck at playing shields in Rainbow Six Siege. Let's be honest with ourselves. If you clicked on this video from a random person with 20 subscribers that you've never heard of, you probably have something to learn. And that's good, because you're aware of it. And that's where we start. And lucky for you, I have just the way to teach you. Today, I'm going to break down some concepts about shields, their advantages, their disadvantages, and how they're most effectively played from a conceptual standpoint. Alright, before we even step foot into the game, I wanted to show you guys my stat tracker page. Not only to show you guys some credentials in that I'm not a burger at this game, but also because these numbers here on this screen don't lie. So I have here selected, these are the past 4 seasons in ranked attackers only. These are the operators I play. Here we can see the number of rounds, the win rate, the KD, the entries. You can see everything on here. And there's a few things that I'd like to point out. So if you'll take a look here at my most played operators, we see Blitz and Monty at the top. So there's your stamp of approval that I play a good bit of shields. And I also want you to notice here, first thing and foremost, is to look at the win rate on these attackers. Monty and Blitz, barring just a few exceptions here, Glaz and Hibana, are my absolute highest win rate operators. They are the best thing that I can bring to the table at any given moment. But if you'll pay attention here, I'm a pretty high KD player. You know, I get my ones, right? I got 1.3s, 1.5s, pretty much all around the board with the exception of the old Ying Shoddy. But pay attention here, Blitz and Monty, those are my lowest KD ops. And we can take a look over at entry frags too. I'm hardly negative on entry except for just a few ops. Again, Glaz, Ying, a little bit of Snake and Thermite here. Obviously Thermite, you're going to be negative, but on my shields I'm far negative on entry. So how is it that with these terrible stats, kills wise at least, I'm able to win more rounds than on any other operator? Well, that's because shields don't bring firepower to the table. They bring everything else to make your team and your teammates control the round. And that's what I'm going to teach you to do today. This isn't about going in and running people down with Blitz and being a demon and getting a 4K. This is going to be about knowing the game, knowing when to do what and how to get it done effectively, and how to utilize the strengths of the shield, which we'll get into. It's not killing people. Now that I've given you some concrete evidence and some numbers, I'm going to choose to believe that everybody watching this is all in and all ears. So, Sensei, you say to me, how am I going to get better at shields? Well, it starts with concepts, young grasshopper, and we're going to go over, with the help of my handy visual aid Google Slideshow, the pros and the cons, firstly, of all shields. Now, let's start with the pros. The number one thing, in my opinion, that a shield brings to the table is the ability to pull attention from the other team. All right, if you have a shield and you're standing there on the site door, somebody's got to be looking at you. If nobody's around, you can just walk into site, you can easily get the plant down, you'll have guns behind you, so you demand attention. Next up, shields have a unique ability to control pace. Because they can put themselves in positions where normal operators can't safely be, it's a lot easier to notice a gap, pick it up, take the space, and give your team map control. The next thing that shields can do, they have a unique ability to safely gather intel without droning. This is really important for understanding the overall goal and objective of the round, what we should hit, what we shouldn't, where there might be a backstab, where there definitely isn't. Maybe we need to nade some util. Communication is your best friend on a shield because you are basically a human drone 90% of the time. The last advantage that shields have is the ability to force enemies to move. All right, if you're playing in a power spot and a Monty walks up on you, you're not going to want to be there. If a Blitz starts running you down and you're trying to play a power spot, you're probably going to turn around and run and maybe end up getting shot in the back if your teammates are holding a crossfire. So It's all about team play, communication, making your enemies look at you, making them scared of you, fear you, and feel your presence. All right? But shields have some cons too. First of all, as we saw with the numbers, they're not as lethal as other operators, especially at range. All right? The other thing with shields, everybody should know this, very weak when you're outnumbered, right? You're not pulling off a 1v3 on a blitz with a pistol. You're just not. The most detrimental thing to shields are mental mistakes. Those are your biggest enemies. Because you're so safe all the time, you tend to get complacent. And I would say about 75% of the times that I die, it's a mental error. All right, if you're still here, congratulations. You made it past all the yapping and all the thinking, and you finally made it to loading into the game and getting actual specific tips for your operators. I'm sorry to bore you, but it's just necessary. We have to understand these things, okay? Siege is a deep game. But now it's time to learn about Monty. So guys, what does Monty excel at? That's right. Monty excels at not dying, okay? So, how do we use this unique ability to almost never die unless we make a mental error, like we talked about? Well, the number one thing that most of you are probably thinking right now is getting the plant down with minimal control. And that's great. That is a proper use of Monty. He is really good at getting the plant down. You have smokes right here. You get this breach open, come in here, tuck up, reverse plant. Only way to kill me is a nitro cell or a smoke grenade, right? But there's a lot of other things that Monty is better at. Most importantly, and like I said earlier, the number one most important thing that shields do is pull attention, right? Monty demands your attention, okay? Because he can get so up close and personal with the enemies safely that you can't just ignore him if he's played right. So let's take, for instance, here, this is a pretty common power spot. You'll see top floor chalet, a guy holding library. Typically we have a reinforcement here, head holes here. He's got an Azami with some Kiba barriers set up, right? And this is very hard to deal with because you can't hit him from K9 window. He gets info if you walk in. God forbid there's another teammate down in bar or 45 or kitchen to watch this cross. You'll never get in here. You have to flood through library. This is such a disadvantaged angle right here. You have these head holes. Right here, there's this little super tight pixel you can get. It's terrible to peek this. He can throw a Kiba barrier here and shoot your feet when you walk out. Terrible. Absolutely horrid to fight top mez on chalet, right? But not if you have a Monty, guys. You just pop this door, or maybe you hop through this window, extend your shield, walk right up these stairs unperturbed, safely, right? This guy's probably going to start looking at you when you get to right here. Your teammate's free to hop in this window. Your teammate's free to hop in this window, or just sit on this window and hold this guy's cut for when he runs away, right? And most importantly in clearing power positions, guys, let me show you the best thing you can do with a Monty when you have teammates near you, okay? It's this right here. Alright, because what does this sound say? If you've played Siege for more than a month, you know that sound means Monty is about to shoot me, right? So what do you do when you hear that sound? You stop whatever the hell you're doing and you look right at the Monty and you pre-aim his head and wait for him to ADS, right? But a good Monty, he's gonna see, alright, I have my teammate here holding this cutoff on K9 window. He can't leave through Ivy door. I've got my teammates on library window. The only thing stopping this or keeping this guy here is that these guys haven't gotten in library yet. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna drop my shield, make him look at me. Come on guys, hop in library. And I just put it right back up. He never got to shoot me. He just looked at me and it was all for nothing. He's pre-aiming my head. I'm never gonna ADS. Now my teammates are in library. He's walking up, spraying through the head holes. Here I am, just steady walking at this guy, pinging this guy, and he has no choice but to run into my teammate on K9 window, right? And that is the biggest strength of Monty. He is excellent for forcing people out of their positions and either back to sight or into the loving arms of your teammate holding a crossfire. because he is so threatening, and there's almost no way to kill him if he's played right. Now, guys, there are a few nuances to this strategy, though, okay? It's very important. A lot of the times, you'll see a Monty walking at you, and his teammates standing behind him, maybe jiggle peeking, but, you know, that's how you get team killed. I'm gonna be honest. You got a guy behind you, you're standing in front of him, you move a little bit, he moves a little bit, wrong step this way or that way, accidentally misclicks, and you're dead, and you get mad because your teammate shot you in the back of the head because he sucks, right? Well, that was easily preventable, guys. Because, let's say there is an Azami holding these head holds, right? And I hop in this library window, and my teammate's behind me, alright? I can do the drop my shield tech, right? But if my teammate's right behind me, let's say I'm on this door for demonstration purposes, alright? When my shield is extended, that Azami, he's going to be looking right here, just to the right of my shield, waiting for somebody to peek off it, right? I drop my shield, he doesn't even have to move, because all he has to do is go boop, 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 and I'm dead, right? Because there's no distance between me and my teammate, okay? So it's important that instead of coming the exact same way as my teammates, I take a safe route, of course, ensure it's safe, because you don't want to be caught out alone on your Monty, never. But I'm going to take an alternate safe route to somewhere that makes this guy have to look 90 or more degrees away from my teammate with a gun who's shooting at him if he wants to take care of me, right? Because now, instead of just being able to go boom, 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 and kill either one of us, now he has to go. And you're not hitting that, right? You're not hitting that on a daily basis. Maybe 1 in every 10 times somebody's going to do that to you if they're good. And if you're not good, if you're not diamond or champ, you should literally have nothing to worry about. There's almost no way both of you are going to die in that situation. Even if your teammate lets you down, you probably will still get the kill, right? So this tech, very important, but you got to have good spacing between your teammates, because you don't want them to be behind you. You don't want them to shoot you in the back of the head. You don't want to take a step wrong and get your teammate killed. All right, it's best to be close, but distance. All right, now it's going to be time to learn a little bit about the Blitz, guys. This is my favorite shield for one reason, and one reason only. It is because he will terrify your enemies, right? He has the most threatening offensive capabilities of any shield. He's the fastest, he's the most aggressive, and he has the most gravity, right? When a Blitz is knocking on site door, like let's say they're upstairs. This is an example I'll give here soon, right? Somebody's got to keep an eye on me at all times, because if they look away, I'm here, boom, now I'm in piano, right? Right now I can do whatever I want with these guys, okay? I can walk up, I can sit right here, I can clear the half wall guy, put pressure on him, I can clear top black, I can see the rotate, I can do anything from this position, right? So Blitz has the unique ability of somebody has to be watching you at all times, or they are cooked when you get close to sight. The other capability of Blitz is, like I said, you're not going to win outnumbered gunfights most of the time. But if you play your cards right with Blitz, you can flash somebody, shoot somebody, spin around, hit the guy you flash. You might can 1v2 somebody on Blitz. You know, you still have a chance. Okay? But I want to demonstrate something with Blitz here too. You have the ability to control the pace really well. You can speed up and slow the game down as needed. Alright? And that's really important to know when to do those things. So, for instance, let's say we're attacking the top floor again, and we clear top mez, alright? What's the next step typically after clearing top mez? Okay, we're going to get the wall open up the half wall plant, right? And then we need to clear piano, because this piano guy is pretty much the only thing that can stop the half wall plant once it's all said and done, and you back this guy off here. Okay, well, alright, if I'm Blitz, how am I going to go about clearing piano? First thing, let's get some intel, see where everybody's at. Is there anybody top black master side? Is there anybody bathroom side? Is he playing prone behind the piano? Are there any thorn traps? Any Denaris I may need to worry about? Once I gather that information, maybe I need to call my teammates. Hey Thatcher, can you come EMP this door? I need to rush through. Okay? It's about to be time to explode. Okay? And Blitz, he's got smoke grenades, so you can isolate people all by yourself. So what am I gonna do? I need to take piano control. All right, good deal. Smoke top black, left side door, these pop, run it down, boom. Dead, 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 dead. Now, here I am. I got piano control. Guess what, guys? Top black's clear, rotates clear, smoke runs out, bathroom's clear. Get that motherfucking plant down, alright, guys? Pretty easy. Now, there are only a few cons with Blitz, alright? The number one thing, this is a pro and a con, is that the enemy team wants you dead more than any other operator in the entire game. And if they get the chance to kill you, they're gonna hunt you down because you are such a threat and you're so demanding of attention, right? So that's a weakness and a strength in and of itself. If you can handle it, it's a great strength. If you can't, it's a weakness. So you must remain composed in those situations. The other thing is, if you overextend yourself and get cut off from your team, you're gonna die. So it's very, very crucial to pay attention to where your team is when you're blitz. Because if I did this whole piano play and I get in piano, but my teammates are still outside the building, you know, they're over there on the mez stairs or in the library, as soon as those smokes dissipate, yeah, maybe I killed a guy in piano, but now I'm alone right next to site, right? So you have to time your aggression very, very specifically with blitz. You need to have teammates behind you because, like we said, you're not winning outnumbered gunfights with your pistol. You don't have the firepower. So very important to pay attention to those things with blitz. And lastly, guys, here we are with our final shield I'll be talking about today, Blackbeard, because I'm not going to go over Fuse shield. Fuse is pretty irrelevant. He doesn't have any special shield ability or anything, right? He's too weak. Don't play Fuse shield. Play the AK-12. But what's special about Blackbeard? Well, first of all, he actually has a real gun, okay? He's got the most firepower out of any shield. You even get a little protection when you shoot, okay? The other thing he has is grenades, and these grenades can be thrown from behind your shield. Now, if you have half a brain, that is really OP, okay? Because let's say, again, we're attacking top floor, we got the wall open, there's a guy prone on the piano. Guess what? He doesn't have any ADSs. He's dead right there, right? Or maybe there's a guy top black too, and I need to isolate this one-on-one. Boom. Grenade here, grenade here. This guy's dead. No refrag potential, right? That is the strength of Blackbeard. The only reason I would ever play Blackbeard over Blitz or Monty is because he has grenades and they're running some kind of trap or some kind of really hard to move power position, like a warden on a shield or a smoke on a shield, something like that, right? And the last thing worth mentioning with Blackbeard, you know, typically when you melee somebody with your shield to knock them on the ground, if they melee at any time during your melee, their melee takes priority, right? It was part of that big shield nerf. Everybody remembers how OP shields were before they made that change, when the shield melee took priority and you just got put on your ass no matter what. But they've since changed that, except for with Blackbeard's smash ability, right? If you use this middle mouse button here and do that, regardless of whether or not the enemy punches you, you're not getting your shield knocked back, and if you hit them, they are getting put on the ground. So if you get really good with this little ability, which is actually really hard to use if I'm being honest with you, Blackbeard is really good close quarters. But otherwise, he excels a little bit better from range and kind of setting up as a sentry turret. But you can't use him as aggressively as the other shields because, as you can see, when you reload, put your shield down to the side. You also can't turtle plant. The shield goes small on your back. If you'll see it, it only covers like your, you know, traps to lats area. I'm super exposed here in the butt, so I'm easily dead if I try to reverse plant. And Blackbeard is also just really slow. I personally feel like his shield hitbox is a bit smaller and it protects less from explosives. So I think it's the easiest to kill a Blackbeard if he gets in close to you. That's why it's important to keep your range and use your utility on Blackbeard. So If you're here for the TLDR, or if you just want a quick summary of what all we've learned today and discussed, here it is. For shields in general, the most important thing you can do is demand the attention of the enemy team and control the pace. Make the enemies look at you when your teammates are nearby. When your teammates are not nearby, slow down, gather information, and wait for them to support you. Once you have support, when the opportunity to take space presents itself, use your utility as needed and as possible to take that space quickly, safely, and effectively, and communicate that you are taking that space or that you have taken that space to your teammates to prepare for what's to come. To move on to specific examples, for Monty specifically, you absolutely command and demand attention. And your most effective play as Monty is to position yourself close to an enemy with teammates supporting in a way that the enemy cannot simultaneously see you and your teammates together, so that you can quickly drop and then re-extend your shield to make the enemy look at you off that sound cue and open up room for your teammates to take space or find a kill. With Blitz, it's most important to use your utility to take space quickly, aggressively, and effectively, and hunt a kill alongside your teammates by isolating an enemy player, whether they're on a roam, in a power position, or just extended off a site. With Blackbeard, you have the unique ability to safely throw grenades and displace enemies, then aim at them with your real assault rifle and kill them as they run away. You also must pay attention for being minimally protected with Blackbeard. It's not a good idea to go for a reverse plant, and you cannot safely reload without being behind cover on Blackbeard. Now, to keep this video from running too terribly long that nobody's going to be willing to watch it, I'm going to end this part 1 off today here. Comment, please, if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Drop them in the comments. I'm going to reply. Nobody comments on my videos. If you need anything explained further, maybe you have some extra tips that I forgot to include. We're all here to get better, guys. So share your experiences. Give me some advice. I'm new to this. I'm trying to make it. So thanks, guys. Just let me know.